Greetings to everyone. Today we are presenting a detailed and comprehensive review of the movie The Intern, a 2015 American comedy drama directed by Nancy Meyers. Nancy Meyers is known for creating emotionally rich and character driven films, and in this movie, she brings her signature warmth into a modern corporate settings. The film stars Robert De Niro as Ben Whittaker, a 70-year-old widower and retired executive, and Anne Hathaway as Jules Austin, a young, ambitious, and highly driven CEO of a fast growing fashion startup. Their on screen dynamic forms the emotional core of the film. At first glance, The Intern appears to be a simple, feel good workplace drama. However, when we analyze it deeper, the movie provides meaningful insights into modern corporate culture, leadership pressure, generational diversity, emotional intelligence, and work life balance. The story is set in Brooklyn, New York, inside a rapidly expanding e commerce fashion company called About the Fit. The company represents modern entrepreneurial culture, open office layout, casual dress code, flat hierarchy, and technology driven operations. It reflects how today's startups function compared to traditional corporate environments. Unlike many corporate films that focus on financial scandals, competitions, or dramatic power struggles, this movie focuses on human relationships within a business setting. It highlights how leadership is not just about strategy or profits, but about empathy, adaptability, and trust. When the film was released in 2015, it achieved strong commercial success, grossing over $194 million worldwide against a $35 million budget. While critics gave it mixed reviews, audience response was extremely positive with a high audience approval rating. This shows that the film emotionally connected with viewers, especially working professionals. One important contextual aspect of the film is its reflection of modern exclusive hiring practices. The company launches a senior internship program that allows retired professionals to re enter the workforce. This initiative addresses age diversity and challenges workplace ageism. In today's corporate world, diversity and inclusion are critical themes, making the film highly relevant. Another key relevance is gender leadership representations. Jules Austin is portrayed as a young female CEO navigating investor pressure, scaling challenges, and family responsibilities. The movie subtly highlights that additional scrutiny women face in leadership positions. From a broader perspective, the intern explores the value of experience in a youth driven world, the emotional cost of entrepreneurship, the importance of mentorship, the need for work life balance, the power of emotional intelligence in leadership. In this presentation, we will evaluate the film through six structure dimensions. First, we will analyze the plot and character development. Second, we will evaluate the acting performance. Third, we will examine cinematography and music. Fourth, we will explore deeper themes and symbolism. And finally, we will present our conclusion and overall recommendations. This film unique is that instead of focusing on a business competition or a dramatic crisis, it focuses on growth, both personal and professional. It reminds us that leadership is not defined by age, title, or authority, but by emotional maturity and the ability to adapt. Another important aspect that makes the film stand out is its tone. Even while addressing serious themes such as burnout, self doubt, work life imbalance, and leadership insecurity, the movie maintains warmth and optimism. It avoids negativity and instead promotes understanding, patience, and emotional maturity as solutions to workplace challenges. It is fast paced, technology driven, and highly demanding. At the same time, it reminds us that professionalism does not eliminate the need for empathy and human connection. It subtly shows that behind every business decision, there are individual dealings with emotions, doubts, and personal struggles. Overall, the intern sets up a story that feels simple on the surface but layered underneath. It prepares the audience for a journey that explores how experience, adaptability, and emotional intelligence can coexist. With that, I will now hand over to my teammate who will take you through the plot and storyline of the film.
Greetings, ma'am. I'm Nishita from Core Finance File. So, now I'll be talking about the plot and the storyline of the movie, The Intern. So, The Intern tells the story of Ben Whittaker, a 70-year-old widower who is feeling a bit lost in retirement. He decides to apply for a senior internship at a startup and lands at about The Fit. It's a company, a fast growing fashion company founded by Jules Austin. Jules is doing amazing things with a startup. She's built it from her kitchen into a multi-million dollar business in just 18 months. But with rapid growth comes pressure, and she is struggling to keep everything together. When Ben joins as an intern, it's a bit of awkward fit at first. He's way older than everyone else, and Jules is not sure what to do with him because Ben's got experience and he approaches things with discipline and patience. He starts small, helping out with tasks and observing meetings. As time goes on, Ben starts to make a real impact. He helps the team with problems, offers advice, generally just become make things smoother. And for Jules, he becomes someone she can trust, someone who will give it straight. No way, no. Okay. Greetings, ma'am. I'm Nishita from Co-Finance File. So now I'll be talking about the storyline and the plot of the movie The Intern. It is a heartwarming comedy drama directed by Nancy Meyer. So here we go. Robert D. Niro as a Ben Whittaker is a 70-year-old widower who is feeling a bit lost in retirement. He decides to apply for a senior internship at a startup, which he feels that advertisement on the street, and lands it about the fit, fast-growing fashion company founded by Jules Austin. Jules is doing an amazing things with a startup. She has built it from kitchen into a multi-billion dollar business in just 18 months. But with rapid growth comes pressure, and she's struggling to keep everything together. When Ben joins as an intern, it's a bit of an awkward fit at first. He is way older than what others are at the company. Jules is not sure about what to assign him. But Ben's got an experience and he approaches things with discipline and patience. He starts small, helping out with tasks and observing meetings. As time goes on, Ben starts to make a real impact. He helps the team and with problems, offer advice, just generally makes things run smoother. And for Jules, he becomes in someone else she can trust, someone who will give it out straight. The thing is, Julie is facing a tough decision in her life. Her investors want her to stop down as CEO and bring in someone more experienced. She's struggling with whether she's good enough to lead, and that's where Ben comes in. He helps her see that she's got with that. It's really a sweet story about finding purpose, about how experience and youth can work together. Ben find a new leases on life, Jules learn on trust herself. It's a great watch movie. So here have some liners here. So here, even though Ben is experienced and is older than the way he like the older than the other people are in the company, he is so organized, structured, and he will be prepared for tomorrow, like what to do, what not to do, how to take life, how to take things on. See, in life it's not about how uh, to achieve success. It's about how we take things and achieve success. So here is an experience, and he feels that kids these days doesn't have patience. We just want to run daily without knowing the purpose of living. And here, I'm not here to fit in, I'm here to do my job. It's a great line I liked. And also Jules Austin said, I'm not a bad mom, I'm a working mom. So here she is not prioritizing her life much. Instead, she's mainly focusing on the work life. And I am the CEO, I'm supposed to be crazy. So yeah, this is a great line as a woman, but still she has to be mindful of what to prioritize. I don't know how to do this mom thing because her husband was taking care of the family and her kid. So it's a overall a good movie to watch. And one line that I would take away from this movie is that from Ben Whittaker, that you're never wrong to do the right thing. This is the great line which would be with me forever. Thank you. This is all about my presentation.
Good morning. Today I'll be presenting my assigned yardstick, which is acting and performance, for the movie The Intern. This film is not driven by action, suspense, or dramatic corporate rivalry. Instead, it depends heavily on the character depth, emotional realism. Because of this, the performances of the actors are central to the film's success. In my presentation, I will evaluate the lead performances, analyze the chemistry between the main characters, and examine how the supporting cast contributes to creating a believable corporate environment. Acting and performance. For this review, I am specifically focusing on the acting and performance as the evaluation criteria. In many films, acting supports the story. However, in the intern, acting carries the story. The narrative is simple and predictable. There is no shocking twist or extreme conflicts. Therefore, the emotional engagement depends almost entirely on the convincingly the actors portray their roles. If the performances lacked authenticity, the mentorship theme and the leadership struggle would not resonate with the audience. This makes acting one of the strongest strengths of the film. Now, why acting matters in the film? This film follows a character driven narrative. That means the emotional journey of the characters is more important than the dramatic events. The relationship between Ben and Jules developed gradually. There is no sudden transformation. Instead, the trust builds through subtle interactions. This requires controlled and realistic performances. Additionally, the corporate environment shown in the film is modern and relatable. The actors must portray a workspace. चूतिया हो जाता है बहन चोद साला मैसेज इन्फो खोल गया चूतिया Good morning. Today I will be presenting my assigned yardstick, which is acting and performance, for the movie The Intern. This film is not driven by action, suspense, or dramatic corporate rivalry. Instead, it depends heavily on the character depth and emotional realism. Because of this, the performances of the actors are central to the film's success. In my presentation, I will evaluate the lead performances, analyze the chemistry between the main character, and examine how the supporting characters contributes to create a believable corporate environment. And performance. Now, for this review, I am specifically focusing on the acting and performance as the evaluation criteria. In many films, acting supports the story. However, in turn, acting carries the story. The narrative is simple and predictable. There is no shocking twist or extreme conflicts. Therefore, the emotional engagement depends almost entirely on how convincingly the actor portrays their role. If the performances lacked authenticity, the mentorship theme and the leadership struggle would not resonate with the audience. This makes the acting one of the strongest strengths of the film. Why acting matters in this film? This film follows a character driven narrative. That means the emotional journey of the character is more important than the dramatic events. The relationship between Ben and Jules developed gradually. There's no sudden transformation. Instead, trust builds through subtle interactions. This required control and realistic performance. Additionally, the corporate environment shown in this film is modern and relatable. The actors must portray workplace conversation, stress, and professional behavior naturally. Any exaggeration would reduce the realism. Therefore, acting becomes the foundation of the film's emotional impact. Robert De Niro as Ben Whittaker. Robert De Niro delivers a restrained and highly disciplined performance as Ben Whittaker. Unlike his intense role in crime dramas, he adopts subtly in this case. His body language communicates experience and stability. He maintains an upright posture, steady movements, and composed expressions. These small physical details establish quiet authority. Importantly, he does not attempt to dominate younger employees. His character gains respect naturally through professionalism and emotional maturity. This restraint makes his mentorship believable rather than dramatic. Acting techniques used by De Niro. From a technical perspective, De Niro uses several subtle acting techniques. First, his voice remains calm and measured, even during the tense discussion. This reflects emotional control. Second, his facial expressions are minimal. Instead of exaggerated reactions, he relies on slight eye movements and controlled expressions. More importantly, he uses silence effectively. In scenes where Jules is overwhelmed, he listens patiently. This silence communicates supports more powerfully than long speeches. Though these techniques, he, Through these techniques, he portrays leadership through stability rather than authority. Anne Hathaway as Jules Austen. Now, Annie Hathaway delivers a performance that captures the pressure of modern entrepreneurship. In fast paced office scenes, her movements are quick and energetic. She speaks rapidly, multitasking constantly, and appears mentally overloaded. This physical intensity reflects startup culture accurately. However, in emotionally vulnerable scenes, her tone softens, her confidence appears shaken. She portrays insecurity without losing strength. This balance between the ambition and vulnerability makes her portrayal realistic. Leadership is not shown as perfect confidence, but as responsibility combined with both. The performance contrast. The contrast between Ben and Jules strengthen the film significantly. Ben represents patience, stability, and experience. Jules represents the urgency, ambition, and pressure. Their personalities are opposite yet complementary. The chemistry develops gradually, there is no artificial drama or romantic subplot. Instead, the bond is based on professional respect and trust. This mature portrait of mentorship enhances authenticity and differentiates the film from conventional workplace dramas. The supporting cast contribution. The supporting cast adds realism to the corporate setting. The younger employees behave casually, dress informally, and communicate in a relaxed manner. This accurately reflects the startup culture. Their natural humor emerges from everyday situation rather than the scripted jokes. The generational contrast between Ben and the younger staff is portrayed without stereotyping. Instead of conflict, the film shows adaptation and mutual learning. This consistency in performance maintains the credibility. The technical acting. Technically, both lead actors demonstrate strong control over performance elements. The body language remains consistent with their character's arc. The vocal modulation reflects emotional shifts. The emotional pacing is gradual rather than sudden. Most importantly, the scene chemistry feels organic. Conversations do not appear rehearsed, they feel spontaneous and professional. This technical precision elevates the film from a simple narrative to meaningful character study. Now, the final evaluation. To conclude, the acting performances elevate what is otherwise a simple and predictable storyline. Robert De Niro delivers a masterclass in restrained mentorship. Anne Hathaway provides a layered and emotionally complex portrayal of leadership pressure. Together, the performances make themes like emotional intelligence, generational collaboration, and leadership growth believable. Without strong acting, the emotional depth of the intern would collapse. Therefore, the acting and performance stands as one of the film's greatest strengths. Thank you.
So, in this slide, I'll be discussing two very important technical aspects of the film, that is, the cinematography and the music. Both of these elements play a significant role in shaping how the audience understands the emotions of the characters and connects with the overall theme of the story. Let me begin with the cinematography. The director of photography for The Intern, Stephen Goldblatt, uses a very warm and visually pleasing style to portray the film's setting, which mainly includes Brooklyn and Manhattan. One of the most noticeable features of the film's cinematography is the use of natural lighting. Instead of relying heavily on artificial studio lights, many scenes are illuminated using soft sunlight and ambient indoor lighting. This creates a realistic and comfortable visual experience for the audience. This approach is particularly important because the film focuses on relationships, emotions, and personal growth rather than an action or dramatic conflict. The natural lighting helps to reflect the optimistic and uplifting tone of the story, making the workplace environment feel friendly and welcoming rather than stressful or intimidating. Moving on to the visual style. The film makes extensive use of soft focus shots, intimate close ups, and smooth camera movements. The soft focus shots are often used during emotional or personal conversations, which helps in creating a gentle and calm atmosphere. Close up shots allow the audience to clearly observe the facial expressions and reactions of the characters, especially during interactions between Ben and Jules. These close ups are very effective because they help the audience understand how the relationship between two characters evolves over time, from a formal professional interaction to a strong personal bond based on mutual respect and trust. In addition to this, the smooth and fluid camera movement throughout the film contributes to a relaxed pace of storytelling.
Unlike fast cuts or shaky camera techniques used in the action films, the intern uses steady and composed camera work. This mirrors the emotional warmth and stability that Ben brings into Jules' otherwise hectic professional life. Another key aspect of the cinematography is the color palette used in the film. The movie predominantly features warm oranges, soft whites, and earthy tones, especially in the fashion startup office setting. These colors create a sense of creativity, positivity, and human warmth. At the same time, the warm color tones subtly highlight the contrast between the traditional mindset represented by Ben and the modern fast paced startup culture represented by Jules. This visual contrast supports the central theme of the film, which revolves around bridging the gap between different generations in a professional environment. Now, let's move on to the second important element, that is the music. The musical score for The Intern is composed by Theodore Shapiro, who creates a light-hearted and breezy soundtrack that complements the film's tone. The background score is used very carefully so that it enhances emotional moments without overpowering the dialogues or distracting the audience from the narrative. One of the most important characteristics of the film's music is its subtlety. Instead of being loud or dramatic, the soundtrack gently underscores the emotional development of the characters. This is particularly noticeable during moments of self reflection, decision making, or personal interaction between Ben and Jules. Talking about the musical tone, the soundtrack blends jazz influenced instrumental music with contemporary pop selections. This combination plays an important role in representing the personalities and lifestyles of the two main characters. For instance, the jazz inspired background music reflects Ben's classic discipline and old school sensibilities. On the other hand, the modern pop tracks used in the film align with Jules' energetic, fast moving, and startup driven lifestyle. This contrast in musical styles help in reinforcing one of the film's core themes, which is intergenerational collaboration. It shows how traditional experience and modern innovation can coexist and complement each other in the workplace setting. Lastly, the film also includes several nostalgic musical standards that are strategically used during certain scenes. These tracks create an emotional contrast with the young and dynamic atmosphere of the startup office. As a result, they deepen the audience's understanding of the generational differences and similarities between the characteristics. Overall, both cinematography and music work together effectively in the intern to create a visually warm and emotionally engaging cinematic experience. They not only support the storytelling but also strengthen the film's message about mentorship, adaptability, and collaboration across generations in today's modern workplace.
Now that we have looked at the characters and the plot, I want to peel back the layers and look at what the movie is actually trying to tell us. I am Vidula, and for the next 5 minutes, I'll be exploring the core themes and the hidden symbols that make The Intern more than just a workplace comedy. In the 2015 film The Intern, there are two main characters that will be discussed in the movie, that is Ben and Jules. Ben is a 70-year-old widower and a retired executive, whereas Jules is the founder of the fast paced startup About the Fit. Now, the core key themes are intergenerational mentorship. So, now under intergenerational mentorship, we can say that Ben teaches Jules how to manage her life and business better. And in turn, Jules teaches Ben how to navigate the fast paced world and how to use the social media apps and also how to operate within a digital first environment. Ageism and purpose in retirement. Under ageism, we can see that Ben demonstrates a purpose, a sense of purpose in life. So, Jules gives Ben a feeling, the being of having being respected, valued, and being needed in a workplace environment. And this in turn helps Ben wake up in the morning and have a passionate workplace life. Work life balance for women. Ben teaches Jules that she cannot be everything for everyone and that a balance is required for both her personal and her business life. Human connection versus technology. So technology though makes us work faster and better, it cannot replace human connection. Human connection is basically what makes us feel better and more connected to the world and people. Now, movies use objects to tell stories without words. Let's look at four symbols that Ben brings into Jules' high tech world. Symbolism. The first one is Ben's suit and briefcase. So, when you watch the movie, you can always see Ben in a suit and with a briefcase. So, here Ben's suit and briefcase represents preparation and emotional preparedness. It acts as an armor for him. Now, the briefcase, when he unpacks the briefcase, you can see him taking out an analog clock, a calculator, a notebook, and a pen. Now this implies traditional wisdom and discipline. This is in stark contrast with that of his younger colleagues who carries digital tools such as phones and tablets. Second is the messy desk. So, this represents Jules' overwhelmed life and the chaos of a startup. Now, when Ben cleans that messy desk, it brings calmness and order to her, the workplace environment, and also to Jules' life. Now, here Ben represents the role of a fixer who brings calm, composure to the workplace environment. The third one is Tai Chi in the park. At the end of the movie, when Ben practices Tai Chi in the park, it represents a balance, patience, and a slower pace of life in this modern, chaotic world. The fourth is the handkerchief. Throughout the movie, you can see Ben carrying a handkerchief, and obviously, the main purpose of carrying a handkerchief is to lend it. Now, this represents reliability and emotional preparedness. Some of the other hidden symbols in the movie Intern are the bathtub and the office setting. Bathtub represents loneliness and isolation. So there's a rare moment of vulnerability that is shown depicting June's. So this shows that June's is even though she has better work environment, she has a moment of vulnerable. Office setting is in a refurbished building, and this represents the merging of old school work values with new age technology, and it also reflects the blend of the characters' experiences. Ben's suit and briefcase, Tai Chi in the park, and the handkerchief tells us something about Ben's lives and values, whereas the messy desk and the bathtub tells us something about Jules' life. These symbols reinforce the movie's main message that bridging the generation gap and combining traditional wisdom with modern innovation creates a stronger, more balanced workplace. And ultimately, the intern shows us that experience never gets old. It's a reminder that we shouldn't just look forward to the next big tech update, but also look back to the wisdom that came before us. Thank you. This is me, Vidula, signing off. Now, I'll hand it over to the next speaker who will be giving us the final verdict and the movie's overall impact.
Hello everyone. Now I would like to conclude my presentation on the movie The Intern. This movie is not just about an internship program. It is all about leadership, teamwork, emotional intelligence, and the importance of experience in today's modern corporate world. I need to summarize some points from the movies. First of all, the, the movie highlights generational collaboration. Like Ben Whittaker, a 70-year-old retired professional, joined a fast-growing fashion startup, even though he belongs to a different generation. He proves that experience, patience, and discipline are timeless skills. Second of all, on the highlights of the movies, like we see modern leadership challenges through Jules Austin. She is ambitious, hardworking, and passionate about her company. However, she struggles with stress, decision making, under pressure and balancing work life with family life. This shows that leadership is not just about power but also about responsibility and emotional strength. Well, the third key point from the movie is like the movie strongly focus on emotional intelligence. Ben does not try to dominate or show superiority. Instead, he listens, support, and mentor other others quietly. His calm nature and respectful behavior earn him trust. This teaches us that soft skills are just as important as technical skill in any organization. Well, another important point in workplace culture, the movie shows a positive office environment where teamwork, mutual respect, open communication are encouraged. It reminds us that healthy work culture increase productivity and employee satisfaction. Well, the final thing, the movie talks about work-life balance. Jewel learned that success is meaningful only when personal relationships are valued. Professional growth and professional growth should not come at the cost of family and the mental peace. Well, the final verdict is, in my opinion, The Intern is an inspiring and heartwarming movie. It successfully delivers a strong message that age is never a barrier to learning or contributing. Like experience and youth can work together effectively. True leadership requires empathy and emotional intelligence. And the film is simply realistic, relatable, especially for management students and future leaders. Well, I would like to rate this movie 4.5 out of 5 because of its meaningful message, strong performances, and but practical workplace lessons. Well, I highly recommend this movie to business and management students, HR professionals, startup founders, and anyone who wants to understand leadership and teamwork better. Well, if you want to learn how wisdom and innovation can work together, you should definitely watch this movie, The Intern. It reminds us that experience never gets old and learning never stops. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you everyone for listening. I hope this movie inspire you to value both experience and fresh idea in your future career. Thank you.